education and good workforce if they can't read. So that's kind of like step number one. And so this group is tackling that. I know it's part of the Achieve Pinal, and it's also a subset also of the Pinal Alliance for Economic Growth. It's changed so many times, I keep forgetting the name of it. But anyway, a good group of people, so please, Larry, you going to kick this off, or?
You covered it pretty well.
Oh, okay. So this is a review of really the AARP Experience Corps reading program, reading club as it's called, but it's again an amazing program with third and fourth graders. Second, third graders. Okay, I should know better. And anyway, it's really been an amazing program. So Evelyn, the floor is yours.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, staff, and members of the public, my name is Evelyn Kasuga. I'm chair of Achieve Pinal and also on the board along with the mayor and Larry as well on the Pinal Alliance for Economic Growth. And before I turn it over to the real folks that are going to talk to you about the program itself, I just wanted to show up tonight because as all of you remember, and actually the mayor covered a lot of this was a data-driven and purpose-driven effort and initiative because as you might recall, I made a presentation probably 2018 with regard to the education progress meter, which this council supported, and also the Achieve 60 initiative at the time, and it's still going forward. We're still using the education progress meter. It is driving a lot of work. This was one of the first communities that took it to heart because we were alarmed with the numbers we saw, and particularly with third grade reading and the college going numbers for our region, and said, hey, through Pinal Alliance for Economic Growth, we formed the subcommittee of Achieve Pinal and turned this into some amazing programs, and so which you're going to hear about. So really, I just wanted to replant that seed because it, like I said, it's data-driven, purpose-driven, and we continue to use our numbers to make sure that the action that we take makes a difference in this community, and that you all have that as part of your strategic plan as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Myra Garcia, who is our new director, as well as Carol Chase, and all of you know her. She's a program manager for the AARP Experience Corps Reading Program. Of course, I'm going to also introduce, but he's not going to say anything tonight, theoretically, is Jerry Stabley, who kind of brought the program to the Casa Grande region as he learned how to do the program up in the Phoenix area. So with that, Myra and Carol, this is all yours. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Oh, thank you, Evelyn. Really, this has kind of happened at the same time. The whole strategic plan, the whole Achieve Pinal, all of that. I mean, it was part of Achieve 60, which was really the outcomes-based program that we all kind of adopted early on, and so this is really an outcome from, or an output from that. So it's great to see it actually being implemented. So and seeing some results too, which is amazing.
Yes. So, good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Myra Garcia, the program
Myra, if you could
director.
talk into the microphone because
I am the
it is
program
being
director. Is that better?
broadcast. It's being broadcast. So
Okay.
we need to make sure people online can see or hear.
All right. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce to you Carol Chase, who's our program manager, who without her, we would not be able to get this program going. So I'd like her to say a couple of words for you, and then we want to show you a couple of slides, and then we have some interesting data for you today.
Hi, Mayor. Hi, Council, staff. Thank you again for letting us come forward and present the great things that this program has done this year. Like Myra said, we are going to show you a little PowerPoint of the things the volunteers have done to help the community and what we do in the classrooms with the kids. So, Myra? As always, we want to thank our sponsors who help provide funding for this program. So a little bit about who we serve. So this slide represents two of our volunteers that were recognized by National AARP Foundation at two of their volunteer trainings that they held for all the volunteers in all of the programs. Ms. Barbara Sundust was a teacher, a longtime teacher for the district, and is now a volunteer with us. And she was recognized in November. And Lee Siebold is a new volunteer winter visitor, working with us for the last 2 years, and he was recognized at April's training. So that's our fearless leader reading to the students on the last day of class. And that amount has gone up because more tutors have gotten their hours and stuff into us, so. And I don't know if you guys know, those, our readers go first grade readers, second grade readers, and third grade readers. The majority of our students this year who were second graders started in first grade readers. So the decodables are very, very beginning level books. And this student progressed immensely, over 250%.
So what does a decodable 19 mean?
So we had 4 decodables in our packet of books for the first grade readers. They are books that work on letter blends. And those blends, and they're very simple one-word sentence for each page. And it's a lot of repeating of the same blend all throughout the sentences. And those are the numbers just are different blends that the teachers thought, the students might need more help with.
Okay.
So this is what some of our students told us about the program. Those are bags that we gave to the students at the end of the program year. The volunteers stuffed 98 bags full of new books, school supplies, snacks, all kinds of things that they can use over the summer and next school year. And they provided all of the materials, or the majority of the materials that went into them. And this is what some of our teachers are saying about the program.
And these are teachers from the schools.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And what our tutors are saying.
And how many volunteers did you have? I didn't.
This year we had 50 plus 5 community volunteers.
Okay.
Last year we had 60. And these are some pictures of, we still provide virtual tutoring for some of the seniors that do not want to come, into the school system. So we provided both virtual and in-person services this year.
Did you have some of the tutors outside of state?
Oh, yes. We have quite a few winter visitors.
No, but I meant that actually tutored from outside the state so they could do it virtually?
Yes, and it initially started, we only had about 2 that started virtual in October, and then when they got down here in November, they started in person. and then they transitioned back to
Back to virtual.
virtual when they left at the beginning of
Cool.
April. Mhm.
That's convenient.
Looks like it's almost as good for the tutors as it is for the students, huh?
They like that part. This was our December training and social. It's held out at Dave White Park. This is where we stuffed, oh, no, this one was held in the library. And this is where we stuffed 75 Christmas stockings for our students with a lot of the same stuff. Some oranges, some games, some toys, just some things for them to have over winter break. So they didn't forget about their tutors.
Cool.
And then we also had a training, of course, along with it. Those are some of our stars of the month that got recognized during that training. And this is our spring picnic. When Mayor McFarland came out, presented our group with our proclamation for volunteer of the month for April. That's National Volunteer Recognition Month. And we got this proclamation in the end of March, and then we did our volunteer recognition that third week in April. And this was
Some
our
good
end.
Hot
oh.
dogs, too.
Yeah. And this is the end of the year recognition that we did, a little Cinco de Mayo celebration, in which we had the sheriff come and speak to the kids. And each of the students signed their name to a sign thanking our sponsors, which we are giving out to our sponsors. So a little bit in review. Last year we started, and I came to you last June and said we had a great year, which we did, even though it was during COVID. We served over 100 students, and then we served another 36 during summer school, and that was in person. And so then school year 21-22 came around in fall. We started right after fall break and ended the end of April. So we met with the students for 24 weeks. Then we, like I said, we did both virtual and in-person tutor services. 106 students have gone through our program so far. Right now, we are working with 31 students in summer school at Saguaro and Mesquite Elementaries, in person and virtual. We've had 98 students finish the program. So AARP doesn't count a student if they receive less than 5 tutor sessions. So that's the difference between the 106 and the 98. But the majority of our students received about 30 to 45 tutor sessions throughout the year. And in their research, students really exceed when they receive 30 or more tutor sessions. So that's what our goal was to do. So if you guys remember, our goal is to help kids with fluency.
Right.
So what I'm going to show you is a little graph. The blue lines on this graph represent our students. That's the beginning of the year scores. Most of our students started below or well below grade level. The orange lines are the end of the year scores. And that's just in fluency. And how we measure that is the teaching staff do a word assessment, words per minute. They will have the students read a passage of words, count how many they finish in a minute, and then subtract the errors that they made.
So this is every student, right?
Every student that was in our program.
Every 2 lines is a student?
Right, and you'll notice some of them only have 1 line, and what that might indicate is
didn't come
the
back.
student that came into our program after January, so they only received 1 assessment, or they left the program before the end of the school year, so they didn't receive the last assessment.
impressive.
For students that are still under the 10-word level or 20-word level, those were due mostly, either the child was very, very low scoring to begin with, which most of those are, and/or they had attendance problems. They didn't show up for the tutor sessions, so they didn't get the help they needed. And then, Myra? Do they have the data sheets? Yeah, the other ones? This one? No, did you? Oh, he's gonna, oh, okay, so, yes, thank you, Ms. McCarty. All right, so the other sheet that you have, this is showing this year's particular scores using the school district's iReady assessment data. And that's one of the reasons why we don't have scores to compare it to last year, is because of COVID, one, and the iReady curriculum assessment data was brand new to the school district and to the teachers. So that, on top of COVID, on top of kids being on Zoom, scores kind of got waylaid. But this year, we have good results. So this will show you by school, the number of students that we serve there, and where they started at the beginning of the year. So you'll see the levels well below grade level, or at grade level. And as you can see in that first column, that most of them are well below or below grade level. The end of the year program years column is where they finished. And then underneath, you'll see the number of students that increased 1 or 2 grade levels, and the number of students that showed growth within an assessment level. So that might mean that they started as a early first grader, and when they ended the year, they're now a late first grader. So they might have increased their assessment score 50 to 70 points. They just haven't made it into that cusp of the next grade level scores. So overall, I'm pretty happy to report that 68 of our percents, which is higher than the national average of 62%, increased at least 1 grade level, if not 2. And that overall, 97% of our students showed growth this year in their reading diagnostics. So that's a good sign. And we did mostly second graders this year. We only did 1 third grade class, and that was at Evergreen. And Evergreen this year was a total online academy, so those students were being served virtually, and they were home. So
Great
I'm
numbers.
open to any questions you might have about our nice little program.
I mean, me personally, thank you for everything you guys are doing. I think it's amazing. These are amazing numbers, and if we can continue to improve like this, I think that's just really going to speak volumes for how we can impact our schools. And so I think that's starting here, as we kind of have discussed, or amongst us anyway, discussed the need for that second, third grade reading proficiency, and it being one of the key measures of the Achieve 60. I can't speak more proudly about all the work that you all have done, so thank you.
We have great tutors.
Mr. Levender?
Yeah, thank you for all that you're doing. We know the statistics on students that are at grade level for third grade versus those that are not.
Yeah, it's
And our kindergarten, first and second graders are really at risk right now because of all the instructional time they've lost with COVID. And you guys have done a phenomenal job filling the gap. I've sat in on the principal meetings when they talk about the impact that you're having. So great job, and I hope we can just continue to grow the program because it's going to be needed moving forward.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yeah,
I
go
just
ahead.
want to say thank you. And, it's not enough that we say that they read to them. I had a very, very small part midway through the year as being a monitor where I went in and actually watched, as they did the reading. I was in awe of these volunteers because they were trying to keep that child on focus, especially virtual. And I was just sitting there, I think my own ADHD caught wind of it because it was like there was so much stuff going on, and yet these readers were, with these children, and they were so excited to see him. And so, I mean, Carol was trying to work her magic with virtual and the kids in the classroom and the volunteers, and it was just amazing to watch. And so I can't say enough, not just about the numbers, but about the volunteers. And I think that we've hit something really special with our winter visitors by doing the virtual.
Absolutely.
Because it didn't matter where they were at. I know Lee, who was recognized, he and his wife, who was a volunteer of mine with the court, and they were able to keep doing what they were doing, even though they were in Maryland. So hats off to them as well.
Yeah, awesome.
And
Lisa?
just, I mean, I ditto to everything, but, just being a parent that's raised 3 children, I just remember the stresses of reading. And, there's sometimes I could never get across, so I always had to hire tutors and, people to help. So this is when I heard of this program and some of the seniors and who your volunteers are, it's such a great idea, and I'm so happy we have this program. And I really hope that we can expand it and whatever we can do as a city to help with that.
Absolutely.
But I just commend you. I'm sure these parents are just so grateful for the things that you guys are doing, because it's so critical, especially that age. That age is very critical, so I understand why you're targeting that age group too. So, thank you.
Mr. Powell?
Yes, when I was growing up, in summertime, when you think you'd be away from school, my mother insisted that you read a book. And Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn just sent me off on an adventure, but I really appreciated that and doing that reading, and it was, I think that during when we had the process going on the pandemic, I read 45 books. So, and I gave those to the senior citizens, so they're books I've read, and they were good books. And I think reading is just essential. Reading and math. If you can do those 2 things, you're going to be successful.
Yep.
Anyone else have any comments? Well, just to say again, thank you for everything you all have done. It's, whatever, please let us know what you need. We'll obviously try to support it. It's one of our strategic objectives. We don't manage or run the school system, but we do have a position in the community to have some influence. So if there's an opportunity for us to help in any way, of course, you have my support, but I know you have the entire council's support.
Amen.
Very much.
So,
We
thank you.
appreciate that. And we have a token of appreciation for the city, so you guys can also hang it. It's one of our thank you signs that was signed by the kids.
That's very cool. Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's some future artists too with the hearts and stuff that are on there. That's great.
All right, thank you all. We'll stand adjourned for about 5 minutes. We'll start at 7 o'clock. Thank you.